Have you ever found yourself wondering why, even after everything that's happened, you still miss him? Why? Despite the lies, the cold silence, and the moments when you felt so small, is there a part of you that is still waiting for a message, a sign, an apology? Maybe you've never told anyone what you've really experienced. Maybe, deep down, a part of you thinks you're exaggerating, that he's not so bad. But what if I told you that this doubt you feel isn't your fault? What if there was a deep and unspoken reason behind this invisible prison? What you're going to hear here isn't what they say. It's what hardly anyone has the courage to reveal. And when you understand, everything will make sense. But first, you need to go back with me to the beginning of everything, to the moment when everything seemed perfect. At first, he seemed like the man of your dreams, thoughtful, intelligent, funny, the kind who seemed to read your every thought before you even spoke. He said he'd never met anyone like you, that you were different, special, and for a while you believed it. It was like living inside a movie, the kind you watch while sighing. He would text you all day long, tell you that he missed you even after spending hours with you. He made plans. He dreamed with you. And above all, he made you feel seen. But there was something there, a detail that you may have overlooked, a criticism disguised as a joke, a look that lasted a second longer when you spoke to someone, a strange request to stop following that friend on social media, small things that you tried to justify, because after all, he was so wonderful at other times. That's how it starts, with an avalanche of affection that makes you think you've finally found something real, with intense promises and a connection that seems impossible to break. But while he's putting you on a pedestal, he's already preparing to push you off, and you don't even realize it. This is the first move of the trap, the phase where you fall in love, not just with him, but with the idea of who he could be. And that's exactly where the cycle begins that will keep you trapped for much longer than you think. After the enchantment phase, something starts to change, but not all at once. He doesn't treat you badly every day. On the contrary, sometimes he goes back to being that sweet, protective, loving guy from the beginning, and that's exactly what confuses you. One day he compliments you, the next he criticizes you coldly. One day he welcomes you, the next he acts as if you're invisible. And when you question him, he says you're crazy, that you're exaggerating, that you're too sensitive. It's at this point that your reality begins to crack. You start to doubt what you feel, what you remember, of you. That pedestal he put you on becomes a minefield, and you never know where you're going to step. Everything that was certain becomes uncertain. And little by little, you start to mold yourself to avoid conflict, avoid his anger, avoid silence. He doesn't bind you with chains. He binds you with memories, with hope, with guilt. You start to think that maybe, if you act differently, he'll go back to being the man he was in the beginning. And that's when you distance yourself from your friends, your family, and your own instincts. You don't realize it, but you're spinning in a cycle. Idealization, devaluation, discarding, and then it all starts again. With gifts, passionate messages, and promises of change. And the longer you stay, the harder it is to see your way out. Because you're emotionally trapped, physically exhausted, and spiritually broken. But you still believe that if you try one more time, it might work. What you may not know, yet, is that there is a powerful reason behind this difficulty in leaving. A reason that goes far beyond love. Getting out of a relationship with a narcissist is not a matter of willpower, nor of courage. It's a question of emotional survival. What holds you back isn't love, it's trauma. It's the way he gradually created a reality in which you came to believe that you couldn't live without him, even when everything hurt. You start to remember the good times more than the bad. And even when he hurts you, something inside you looks for a justification. Because that's what the narcissist does. He destroys your perception of what is right, what is healthy, what is love. They isolate you, but in a subtle way. He takes away your strength, but disguised as care. It steals your voice and then tells you that you're the one shouting. And all this builds up inside you. The loneliness, the fear that you're exaggerating, the shame of telling anyone. You feel that no one would understand, and you're even more afraid of leaving and him moving on to someone else and treating you the way you dreamed of being treated. That hurts more than any slap. But what nobody tells you is that this bond has a name: trauma bonding. It's a bond that forms between abuser and victim based on the cycle. It's not about running. It's about waking up, about seeing the truth. He tried to hide. You have value, even without him. In fact, especially without him. It's common to feel lost, confused, even ashamed for having accepted so much. But understand one thing. Everything was planned to make you doubt yourself. You didn't lose yourself. You were disconnected. And now, what needs to happen is not a fight against him, but a reunion with you. Freedom begins when you stop asking why he did what he did, and start asking why you believed you deserved so little. And when that question begins to echo inside you, why did I believe I deserved so little? Something starts to change. At first, it's subtle. It's not a shout. It's not a revolution. It's almost like a light breeze passing through, reminding you that you're alive, that there's still a part of you that wants to come back. Maybe you still cry for it. Maybe you still miss something that was never real. And that's okay. Feeling doesn't make you weak. But now, for the first time, you're starting to feel something else too. Tiredness. Tired of explaining yourself, of diminishing yourself, of living waiting for crumbs. This tiredness, strange as it may seem, is a sign of strength. It's what pushes you forward. And then you start to see the little signs. The blank look in the mirror. The way you keep your voice down around him. The way you hesitate before laughing. All of this screams, silently, that it's past time to choose yourself. You don't need to have all the answers right now, nor do you need to know what tomorrow will be like. But you do need to take the first step, even if you're afraid, even if you're shaking. Because every time you listen to yourself, instead of listening to him, you start to find yourself again. And that's when the turning point comes. Not like a happy ending in a movie, but like a real beginning. Real and yours. The road to healing is not a straight line. It's a road full of twists and turns, of good days and days when everything seems to go back to the beginning. But there's a fundamental difference now. You know what you're experiencing. And that changes everything. Taking care of yourself after an abusive relationship is like relearning how to walk. First comes silence, then the doubts. But little by little, you start to recognize your own voice again. You start to say no without blaming yourself, to look at yourself more kindly, and above all, to accept that what you've lived through doesn't define you, it transforms you. Seeking help is not weakness, it's courage. Therapy, support groups, conversations with people who really listen to you. All of this is part of the process. You don't have to do it alone. You never have to. Reconnecting with who you were before may seem impossible. But the truth is that you don't go back to who you were. You become someone even stronger. Someone who knows what they no longer want. Someone who chooses herself. And yes, there will be longing. There will be relapses. But every time you resist the urge to go back, you'll be teaching yourself something new. That you are enough. That peace doesn't come after pleasing someone else. It comes when you stop abandoning yourself. Healing doesn't come quickly, but it begins the moment you decide that you deserve something better. And you do. If this video has touched you in any way, don't ignore it. Because when the truth starts to bother you, It's a sign that something inside you is awakening, and that awakening is what can change everything. You don't need to be in a hurry, nor do you need to know all the answers right now. You just need to keep going. Keep choosing yourself. One step at a time. If it still hurts today, if it still seems confusing, breathe. Pain is also part of healing, and you're stronger than you think, just by being here, listening until the end. If you like, share your story in the comments. Sometimes putting it out there is the first step to freeing yourself for good. And who knows, your voice could be the beginning of someone's healing. You deserve peace, and it starts when you believe in it. For real.